NathanIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, closed fists, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono B the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI, where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI, where my people at.
Good morning. Welcome back. I wasn't with you yesterday, but I am with you today. Let's get back into it now. If you haven't plugged into the show in a long time, or perhaps you're coming across my voice for the first time, right? Maybe you're watching or on Facebook or YouTube. I'm just coming up in your feed somehow. Maybe a friend of yours posted this and you're like, what is this show? You know, this is the Nathan Ivy Show, your morning destination for interesting conversation. And among other things, I'm your friendly neighborhood agent provocateur. I want to stir things up, get you talking, get you thinking, shall I say. I speak truth to power. It's the Nathan Ivy Show, based in greater Cincinnati, somewhere in a secret location in the greater Cincinnati area. We chop it up. I guarantee this is going to be a different experience from you, from anything else you're hearing in the city or perhaps the country. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of talented people out there, but we don't just talk here. We flow. Superlative flows. This is performance art. I am an artiste. I'm a rhetorical artist, a creative, a new age creative. Good morning to you. I shared the talk show host moniker a long time ago. Other cats talk, we flow. Good morning to you. On today's show, among other things, because there's a lot to talk about. I wasn't with you yesterday, and these things are kind of piling up. What you learn about me, if you are watching this for the first time or listening to my voice for the first time, is that I'm into people. I'm a people watcher. I think people are amazing, fascinating characters. I'm also a black man. I am a black man. Every bit of that BLACK, that's me. But I'm also someone who likes to think before we act, and we try to base it on the facts. So it's a little bit of, you'll get a little bit of a lot of stuff. You'll get some interviews. You definitely get that local Cincinnati flavor for sure. And when it comes to local politics, we are the tip of the spear. We're right there with those conversations, those cutting edge local conversations, and really even some of the cultural conversations as well. So it may be something you can get into. If you're not into it, it's your fault. Give it more time. This is an acquired taste, meaning that you have to acquire some damn taste for you to like this. This ain't for everybody. Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, I'm still here. Good morning to you. This ain't for everybody. You know, I already know that. But you know, great minds think alike. You might find some things you're interested in. Could be some interesting conversation. So among other things this morning, I want to talk about this. Here's a question. Did the best rapper ever die 25 years ago today? Did the best rapper ever of all time, Craig, did the best rapper of all time die 25 years ago today? The notorious B.I.G. was killed 25 years ago today. And people have still been talking about his death and the impact he's had on the culture and the music. But my question for you is, did the best rapper ever die 25 years ago today? Because I just want to put that conversation to rest. Is Biggie the best ever? That'll be one of many conversations I think we'll probably have this morning. 513-873-7134. Shout out to my homie, the new homie, Mr. Let Go. I like the brother. He had the women's all riled up. He had the single moms all riled up on the show back on Monday. And I have to reach out to him, but I think we're going to sync up. I'm going to go on his show, talk some shit. I'm going to talk some ish on his show. It'll be fun. He had them single moms was all in their feelings. It was in their feelings. Oh, man. They was in their feelings on Monday, boy. Woohoo! I like it. Perhaps you'll hear him more from time to time on some cultural conversations. You never know. You know me, I likes the drama. As long as it's not in my business or in my relationship or on my show with me, I'm with the business. I thought it was an interesting conversation, though. I thought it was a very fair and interesting conversation. One of those crucial cultural conversations that this show has been known for. I just like to have it. So I'll be seeking those out. You already know those. That's in my wheelhouse. That is in my wheelhouse because I think it's really very relevant. It's very relevant in a lot of different ways. I'm going to do a new segment called Favorite Memes or Memes I Like, something like that. Because I don't know about you, man, but from time to time I come across some of the funniest memes ever. People, human beings are so freaking creative. Did my phone just die? Oh, no, it didn't. What the hell was that? Human beings are so freaking creative. So freaking creative. I love the creativity that I see in the memes. I wish I could do that. My brain don't think like that. Anybody good with making memes? If you're good at making memes, hit me up. If you just be thinking like, damn, that'd be a dope meme, let me know. Maybe we can work together. I've got a use for a person with those kind of talents because I don't have that talent, but I know a good meme when I see it. And so I want to do a segment where I invite you to share your memes with me as well because I can't see everything on the internet. And, you know, the thing about memes is that some of them can just be totally irreverent, right? You ever got like an irreverent meme? Maybe it was on some sex-ish and it's like, Target. You'd be like, yeah, this is a good meme. Or maybe it's like a politically themed meme and it's just like the humor is on point. It might be subtle. It might be overt. It might be something that's more visual. You're like, oh, this is a dope meme. And you want to share it with somebody. Share it with me and I'll share it with the larger audience. I'm going to do a segment. I might show you some memes that I thought were interesting. Some of them are just funny because it tells the truth about some little small facet of human existence that we can all find ironic and maybe even funny as well, right? So look for that. I want to talk about CPS. They have decided to make the mask mandate a voluntary type of thing. I've got 2 children to attend CPS. I want to give you the thoughts of one parent with 2 children on both ends of the CPS spectrum. One is in the 1st grade, the other is in the 11th grade. Yeah, I know, 10 years apart. What was we thinking? It's too late now, homie. We's there. But I want to share that unique perspectives with you. And there's some other tidbits. We might get into some Roland Martin. Roland Martin's been belly aching to his audience. And that's the big homie right there. He's the pioneer. I'm in his wake. I'm trying to follow his lead, but I'm like, let me sit you down, Roland, and talk about the, black audiences. Maybe he didn't forgot that. We might talk about that. Top 3 things I've been watching over the last 3 months. Ozarks. The final season of Ozark. I am anxiously awaiting the second part of the final season. They have become masters. Like streaming services are masters of the cliffhanger. They have mastered the cliffhanger. If you watch some of these shows, man, they leave you holding on, man. Like when I was a kid, one of the biggest cliffhangers of all time from season to season was Who Shot JR on it was like an evening drama show called Dallas, right? And Jared Union was this badass rich kid born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And he was cheating on his wife, and he was all about himself. He was just a villain you just love to hate. And somebody shot his ass, right? And it was like this big cliffhanger throughout from one season to the next season. Man, they do that on every damn street, every show now. Every show, they got the best cliffhangers. I don't know who these writers are, but they have mastered the cliffhanger, man. They have you holding on. I don't know what happened next. You just gotta watch it. They have learned how to open like you got a multi-period, like a multi-part series. They know how to open these shows now and how to close them. Because they be having you like, they got me. I'm hooked. I got to find out what happened to Karen, whoever. You know what I'm talking about. So I've been watching that. I've been watching Bel Air, which is my new thing. I can't wait till Thursdays. Man, we tore through the first 5 episodes. I was pissed. You ever have like a really good show you've been watching and you burn through the seasons on some binge type shit? And then you like, damn, I don't have anything to watch, right? You like, you got that letdown. That's how I'm feeling with Bel Air. I like what they did with it. I like it a lot. I like all of it. And I think the brother playing, in the Will characters, just a lot of talented people on there. I thought it was very, very talented. And I've been watching the slow implosion of Russell Westbrook. This is a sports kind of thing, but man, y'all see this? Don't be calling me Russell Westbrook, huh? Motherfucker, you can't shoot. Don't be put some respect on my name. That's what he said, basically. Put some respect on my name. Then try to add in some stuff about his kids and some death threats. Don't try to lump all that stuff together. Man, listen, when you in the NBA making $45 million a year with the Lakers in Los Angeles, with LeBron James playing the way he playing, talking that dumbish in the press conferences, what you think gonna happen, homie? They coming for you. They want to see you. They want to see you cry. You like to wear dresses? Go put a dress on and go cry. They keep talking. They keep calling me out my name. They keep calling me Russell Westbrook. I want to go to an NBA game now just so I can call him Russell Westbrook, man. You don't feed the Lions and the Sharks. You don't feed the Sharks, man. There's a bloodbath out there. That's going to be interesting to watch. Very interesting. But you know what? America loves a comeback. He hit a couple late threes, win a couple playoff games or something like that. They'll love him. That's what you got to understand about this business, man. Like entertainment, being in front of people, you can't have thin skin. If you got thin skin doing this shit, you're going to be in your feelings all the time. You better get tough because people will say anything, especially if you're not performing. Don't call me Russell Westbrook. My kids love the name Westbrook, huh? You're one of the worst. You're the worst shooter on the team, including free throws. Talking about don't call me Russell Westbrook. That's hilarious. You might come back to that. But let me circle back around. 513-873-7134 is my number. If at any point this morning you might say, let me call that Nate guy and see what's up, you can call me right there. That's my number. I'd love to hear from you if there's something that you want to share. But I want to go back to our cover story real quick. I want to start there. I want to set the table for what you might be able to expect on the show this morning. But did the best rapper ever die 25 years ago today? It was 25 years ago when the world got the news that Biggie Smalls, Christopher Wallace, had been gunned down. March 9th, 1997, murdered in Los Angeles after a very tumultuous and very widely publicized beef with another rapper named Tupac. It was like this whole East Coast, West Coast thing. And a lot of people believe that because Tupac was killed, that it had an impact on Biggie being killed. Why is Biggie's death still unsolved? He was a big-time star. He's like a cultural icon. But is he the best rapper ever? Because Sean P. Diddy Puffy Combs, who was his mentor, protege, partner, homie, and he owned the label that was taking all of Biggie's money. He's been saying for years that Biggie is the best ever. Really? Best ever? Like ever, or to that time, like up to 1997. But ever? I like to know. I know we got some hip-hop heads there, and that's very subjective. Of course, I've got a strong opinion that I'll share with you in just a moment. But first, let me jump inside the chop shop. Ray writes, good risings, all. Good morning, Ray. Good morning to you. Crystal writes, morning. D writes, greetings. Nat writes, good hump day, Nate and the Choppers. The wifey said it was kind of snowing outside a little bit. Really? Crazy. Jerome writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Anthony writes, like and share, fam. Glenn writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Flows ready to eat for everybody. Hashtag Flow Debo. Crystal writes, good morning, everyone. Regina writes, good morning, fam. Callie writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Sister V's in the house. She writes good morning, choppers, with a Z. That's not there. There it is.
Get to the chopper!
Eloise writes good morning. Happy Wednesday. Kelly Prather's in the house. She writes good morning, everyone. Brenda writes good morning. Nat writes top 5 dead or alive. Brian writes nope. Callie writes no, he was not even close to being the best. Elijah writes top 5, but not the best. Yo writes no sir, Pac by a landslide. Donnie B writes no, Tupac is the best rapper ever. Biggie was mediocre, nice flows, but no substance in his lyrics. Brent writes good morning, Nate and the Choppers, checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good morning to you. Nicole writes no, that was Tupac. Biggie a close second. Adele writes good morning, Nate and the Choppers. 25 years since Biggie was killed. 25 years, damn, yo, it's been that long? Do you remember where you were? Like on 9/11, people commemorate and they reflect because that was like a cultural like watershed moment in American history. Well, for those in the hip hop community, so was the killing of Biggie Smalls. That was something that was important to our culture in terms of the culture of the music, maybe even more. And I'd love to be able to come on and ask you, well, damn, have things changed? We had this brother that was shot down. He was killed. I mean, do brothers or whatever, or we are less violent society, right? But Young Dolph just got murdered. Somebody said that being a rapper, I think it was Jim Jones on one of these podcasts, said that being a rapper is the most dangerous profession in America. Really? Rapping? Rapping? Rhyming? Spoken word? Really? Did the best rapper ever die 25 years ago today? Well, we're speaking about Biggie. No. No. Biggie was not the best rapper ever. He wasn't even the best rapper in 1997. He has super nice flows, man. He just has something that he brought to the culture, but best rapper ever? For me personally, and y'all know where I stand on this, to be the best rapper ever, like in a commercial sense, for me, this is just me, and I'm like this about most things, but you can't be the best rapper ever if there's not a whole lot of substance in terms of the ongoing plight of our people in our community, right? Now, some might argue that Biggie did that. He talked about, being a single father and hustling, had to do what he had to do. That's a part of the overall experience. That's like sort of like a narrative about the world. I mean, that's newsworthy. I mean, I agree with you on that, but I don't think anybody's gonna ever say that Biggie was a conscious rapper. Now, am I saying that the best rapper ever is a conscious rapper? I think that's what I'm saying. There's got to be some substance in the lyrics for me personally. Super Nice opened the door for cats that's still doing it probably even today, but best rapper ever? No. That's just my opinion. What about you? Sister V writes, I thought Tupac was the best during that period of time. No slight Biggie, but a Pac library was much bigger. Brent writes, memes and GIFs are definitely in my wheelhouse. Is that right, Brent? Nothing like a good meme, man. Nothing like it. You might even have a meme buddy, like somebody you share memes with. That's always fun. Got a meme buddy? I'll be your meme buddy. Hold on, I want to show you some things too. It's going to be a very diverse conversation. I'm only going to be here as long as it's good. Okay, I'm only going to be here as long as it's good. When it's not good anymore, I'm out. And I think that's going to be somewhere between 9:30 and 10. I told you this was different. Low unorthodox. Got something I want to show you. How many people out there in the sneaker culture? I want to show you a pair of sneakers, and I want you to tell me whether they're hot or not. I'll probably do that probably after 9. For now, back to your chat. Cam Hardy writes, good morning. Hey, what's up, Cam? Been a minute, man. How was everything? TNT writes, good morning. Good morning to you, TNT. Glenn writes, King Von. What? I said it. Hashtag 10 toes. Really? Reggie writes, Jay-Z. I knew this was going to happen. This is less about who the best rapper is. It's more about whether you think Biggie was the best rapper ever. That is my question. Gun down. And there's a couple of YouTube channels, man, that are still spending a lot of time on this. Like Vlad has spent a lot of time on this, talking with detectives. You've got a fairly new YouTube channel called The Art of Dialogue. They do a lot of talking with the major players and stuff. I most recently saw a video of a brother that was on the Art of Dialogue YouTube channel. He was actually with Biggie, and he described the whole scene, man, just so tragically sad. He said they knew he was dead. He knew he was dead. Right then on the scene, he knew he wasn't coming back. What's been the influence of Biggie since his tragic death 25 years ago? How did that impact the music or the culture, or did it or not? I'm sure it did, because you got rappers that are like, damn, I always want to. Biggie Smalls is their favorite rapper, so lyrically, on some way, they're going to be influenced by it, right? What about you? Gladys writes, good morning, Native Choppers. Enjoy your Wednesday. Brian's on YouTube. He writes, good morning, GSW. Reggie writes, yes, great show. Brent writes, Ozarks. Donnie writes, I'm not a fan of Roland Martin. Yeah, I saw Roland, and again, I think Roland is on the cutting edge of a lot of stuff. I mean, there's something in particular. There are things that he talks about that nobody else talks about that are super important to all creative entrepreneurs, right? And I don't know if people are paying attention to it. I don't always pay attention to it. I don't watch it every week or even every day or anything like that. But from time to time, things that come across my radar screen, and he went in on his audience most recently, or on the audience, because he felt like he's been talking about how he spends a lot of time talking about how black-owned media doesn't get a fair piece of the pie from either advertisers, and these are people that have a lot of black consumers, and or now he's focused on the federal government. So when the federal government was spending advertising dollars for the U.S. Census, who did they call? And he's like, well, listen, you should be calling black-owned media, not black-targeted media. There's a difference. He's like, you should be spending money with black-owned media. And he's also talking about like little shows like this and podcasts, and there's a whole bunch of different networks out there. He's talking about all those kind of folks too, who may or may not be on your radar screen. It's an excellent point. But when he started making a point like, well, I think he posted something on Twitter about the federal government not giving enough money to black-owned media companies, and they don't. And he was basically upset a little bit because he didn't get enough traction. He thought he should have more likes and more shares. And he's like, man, if I post something about another topic, and I think the example that he used in the video was, if I posted a topic about, the two brothers that sold their Kanye West footage to Netflix, they made about $30 million for that. Did you know that? So I think he posted something about that, and he got like tens of thousands of tweets and things like that. And he's like, why are we caught up on the silly and not on the substance? But that's just people, though. That's just people. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is into everything that you think they should be into. And consumer trends and black consumer trends are varied. Sometimes I'm into documentaries. Sometimes I'm into cartoons, like adult cartoons, right? Like an anime or something like that. Or, maybe even like, I'll tell you what was one animated series that you might want to check out is Invincible on, I think it's on Prime. You should check that out. It's worth your time. Something like that. Or sometimes I'm in the mood for gangster rap, and then sometimes I'm in the mood for conscious rap. That's just how people are. And the internet is, it's like you're mad at the wind because it changed directions. You can't get mad at the wind because it changed directions. You just deal with it. And that's what I would say to Roland and any other creators who might be listening. You can't change that. You shouldn't put no energy into that. Just do you. Just do what you do. Brenda writes, Ozark is great. Yeah, I got into it late minute. I got sucked into it, and it's right up my wheelhouse. It's very adult, very mature and serious scenes and themes. That's what I'm into. I'm saying? I'm into that, something like that. Very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And then my new show came out, which I'm not going to tell you because I'm slightly embarrassed. I'm not going to put it out there because then Drop will be talking about it. And Fame, who's mad at me, this Fame don't want to call in anymore because he called in and said the dumbest shit ever one day, and I had to hang up on him. So now he don't want to call us no more. But I'm just calling you out, bro. I'm calling you out. That's it. Who shot JR? I remember that. Right. Yeah. My mother was all into that stuff, man. And, whatever your mother's into, back then you into. Because you only got one TV. You get no tablets. Mama's watching Dallas, and then she gonna watch Knots Landing, and that's just what it is. Now and really she don't even want you in the kitchen, in the living room while she watching it. Go play so she can be alone and watch her shows. We would sneak back in there and all that kind of stuff. Who shot J.R. Wright? Sister V writes, I think Tupac was the better rapper of that time period. No slight, I think I read that already. Lemmy writes, good morning. Regina writes, yes, Who Shot J.R.? Best cliffhanger ever. Yeah, I remember it. But what they doing on YouTube now on every episode, I'm like, damn, yo. It's like they write the cliffhanger first and then everything else comes after it, man. Some of these shows have mastered the art of the cliffhanger and the opening. They have mastered it. And they just suck you into it. And now you didn't watch. You just spent 35 minutes on this issue. You know you got work to do. You spent 40 minutes on this. Donnie writes, Marty is a punk. I think he needs to grow a pair. Really? Crystal writes, I love Snowfall. Carlton gets on my nerve. He's the worst. I just love what they did with it. I love what they did with it. I love what they did with the new. Made it a drama. They even got some like skin color shit going on with the dark skin casting. I'm with all of it. And it's been real interesting. And especially for somebody who grew up watching The Fresh Prince, and now it's just something about it, man. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. Donta is on YouTube. Good morning. Who the F is this? Paging me in 5. Right. I feel you. 25 years ago, I was a senior in high school and I was a Pac fan. Now Biggie is number one for me, really. Is that right? Crystal writes, I'm still on season 1 of Ozark. I'm going to catch up with y'all. I'm almost jealous that you haven't seen it because you get to watch you got 4 seasons of good stuff to watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm jelly a little bit. It took me a while too, Crystal. It was out for a long time. I had friends telling us about it. I just had other things going on and kept putting it off to the side. And I think it was COVID. I think it was COVID. I'm like, let me turn this shit on. Before I know it, damn. Again, that's first season ends with a cliffhanger. You like, oh boy, I got to watch more. They got me. Reggie writes, if they make the playoffs, right? If they make the playoffs, right? To my Russell Westbrook. Worst thing ever, man. You never let the crowd know they getting to you. Because all they going to do is keep doing whatever they know can press your buttons. Talking about don't call him Westbrook, and he's one of the worst shooting players in the entire NBA. He's like third from the bottom in free throws. Free throws, and you a point guard. Talking about don't call me Westbrook, huh? Man, listen. I guess everybody's built a little differently. I just would take it differently. I'd be like, yeah, he called me Westbrook when I'm cashing these checks. You know what I'm saying? Westbrook cashes checks. See, that's some shit I would do. I would spin it. Like, yeah, Westbrook is cashing checks. $45 million worth. Mm-hmm. Long as them checks, I do some crazy, but you can't really say that as an NBA player because people are like, oh, he is a millionaire. We forgot. We hate you. We hate your podcast. Jared writes, did Jan Michelle ever make it on the show? She did not. It was totally on me. I double booked it, and we had already started the conversation, and I did reach out to her people. I'm going to reach out again today because there's some very serious things that are happening on city council that we need to know about, and I really respect her time. But I'll reach back out again. She did not make it on the show, no. We ended up talking with the brother. At that point, we was in all the way. We was in all the way at that point, and I've done that before where I'm like, oh, I got a guess, and it just never works, for me anyway. City council needs to address the litter problem. It's the worst I've seen it, and it's not even summer yet. Is that right? Is that right? Huh. Regina writes, no, not ever. Crystal writes, nah, Biggie is not the GOAT, but he is a GOAT. He's not the GOAT, but he is a GOAT. That's right. Everybody's a GOAT these days. We passing out. That's right. See, it used to be that GOAT meant something. But now you can be the GOAT because you're the GOAT. I'm the best Nathan ever. I'm the GOAT of Nathan, right? Everybody gets a participation GOAT award. Right. I get it, Crystal. Remember back in the days when you had winners and losers? Remember that? You just lost. I mean, Russell Westbrook is a big-time athlete, MVP in his damn feelings because he can't make a shot. And instead of him just admitting like, yeah, this is effing with me, then you can go through it, but he can't admit it, so he can never go through the process. Talking about some "Don't call me Westbrick." Oh my God. This "Don't call me Westbrick." I mean, they call LeBron LeBrick. See, that's the difference in the mentality. You can tell that at least in that way, LeBron is much thicker skinned than Westbrook is. Crazy. Sheila writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. If I was Westbrook, I never would have said none of that. I ain't gonna let you know you getting to me like that, ever. I wouldn't, even if I felt that way, I wouldn't say it. I would just say exactly how I felt. You know what I'm saying? I need to play better. Bring that tiger back. That's it. Damon writes, I give Jay the GOAT title on Biggie number 2, even though he did not have the biggest catalog. Biggie is not number 2. That's all sympathetic. You know what I'm saying? You got brothers out there. Number 1, consistency is the hallmark of greatness. So no artist with just 1 or 2 albums could ever be called the greatest in hip hop, because greatness has to be judged over a long length of time. I'm just saying. And then when you got a genre like hip hop that's speaking, not just speaking to, but speaking for and reflecting on so many different ways to a certain culture, right? To black folks, to black youth culture, because that's what hip hop was. Then in order to be the greatest as an artist, you have to have, it has to be some substance behind it. Like what makes Muhammad Ali was a pugilist. He was an artist. He was an artist with these. The reason why he's the greatest is not because he beat George Foreman and George Foreman was this big old dude and nobody thought he could be beaten. That's not what makes Muhammad Ali the greatest. What makes him the greatest, y'all? What makes him the greatest is that he stood by his convictions during the time when it was real hard to do so. He's like, nah, I ain't doing that. Them people that never called me the N-word, I ain't doing it. Are you going to take my belts and take my livelihood? Go ahead and take it. I'm still going to be me. That's what makes him the greatest. Now, some folks might look at it differently. He's the greatest because he was the best boxer ever. Anybody said about Muhammad Ali is clueless. That is not what makes Muhammad Ali the greatest. He sacrificed for the people, for the cause. Really, it was for everybody. Really, when his Vietnam stands, it was for everybody. He was right about that, by the way. Lost his livelihood, working odd jobs. Here he is, Muhammad Ali, working odd jobs because he can't make money because he wouldn't go to the Vietnam War. And then now looking back with the long arm of history, we realize he was absolutely right. That's what makes him great. Same thing with rap. To me personally, you're going to have to bring some substance to the game, speaking to the larger plight of the people that you came from and that you also are speaking to. That's just me. Now, that's all like a super serious, like, why you got to get all intellectual with it, Nate, kind of response. If I'm just going with my feelings, he still ain't the number 1. He still ain't the greatest ever. But what's interesting is it's been 25 years since Biggie was killed. We still don't, the persons have never been brought to justice. How's that happen? 25 years? All this forensic technology and all these streamers, we don't know. Or maybe it's already been put out there on one of these YouTube channels and it's just like, it's kind of over with here. I've heard that it came from the streets. I've heard it was law enforcement. I've seen all the conspiracy theories. It was the government. I've heard all the conspiracy theories as it relates to Biggie, and we still don't really know. We have no idea. Did hip-hop get less violent after that? Did hip-hop get less violent? On some levels, I think, I think for people that were never, I don't know. I would like to believe that the death of Biggie had a meaning in the sense that maybe there's some brothers out there that could have met with a tragic end and they did not. Because of the people involved was like, you know what? Nah, I ain't trying to go there. This to be tragic. I would like to believe that. I can't prove it though. Sheila writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning. Jack writes, my bad. Good morning. Good to see you. Brother Powell writes, KRS-One, Tupac, J, Biggie Smalls. TNT writes, it's more dangerous to be a rapper now more than ever. Really? You're just rapping. So maybe it's not being a rapper. I think it was, what's the brother's name who said it? Jim Jones from Dipset. He said it many years ago on a podcast. He's like, being a rapper is the most dangerous profession in America, right? It ain't being a rapper. Maybe it's being elevated. Maybe that's what it is. You know, here you are coming from some of these neighborhoods where it's every man for themselves, you know, in the mud. And then you come from that, and then you still close to that. And then all the jealousy and envy that comes with it. Because there's plenty of rappers. Ain't nobody trying to kill Mos Def. Ain't nobody shot at Mos Def. Ain't nobody shot at Talib Kweli. You never hear about Talib Kweli getting into no beef. You'll never hear about anybody going after Mos Def. You'll never hear that. Ain't nobody going after KRS-One. Old school rapper, but still the same. Ain't nobody going after him. So it must be more than just being a rapper. It's how you conduct yourself. It's what you rapping about. It's how the moves that you make, the way you project yourself. It's all of that. So it ain't, I don't think it's being a rapper. I think it's coming from some of these impoverished neighborhoods. Now you elevate it, and then you carrying yourself in a certain way, and you rapping about certain things that push you in a line of fire. Because like I said, I ain't never heard nobody saying, oh, Mos Def was in a shootout. Now, maybe it's happened and I just forgot it, but you never hear about that. You never hear nobody, you never hear that. It's that jealousy. TNT writes, jealousy, ego, street attachments. Right. That's what it is. Nakia writes, Travis Scott concert was dangerous for the spectators. I know you not, Nakia. That's your point. That's the point you're trying to make here this morning. Good morning to you. I'm going to reject that. That is not received. That is not, Travis Scott concert was dangerous for the spectators. You are hilarious for that one. Marcia writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you. The Travis Scott concert was dangerous for the spectators. That is too funny. Vernon writes, what up, Nathan? Sorry I'm late. Hey, man, whenever you get here. I know you're busy. Getting ready to win today. Get out there and win. That's what it's all about. Get out there and win. Whatever you're trying to do, go win today. Go win. And then let us know all about it. So we can take some of that positive energy. Edward writes, good morning, Brother Nate. Happy hump day. All right, so we've talked about this. What is it, 8:55? There's a few more things I want to talk about. If you're still listening and you want to chime in and talk about the best. Did the best rapper alive die 25 years ago today? That would be Biggie Smalls. Yes or no? People are, having some fun with it, talking about who their top five is. That's great. That's all part of it. But I want to move on. I want to talk about the fact that the Cincinnati public school system has decided to make masks optional. And I'd like to know if you think that that's a good idea, or is it too soon or not soon enough? And in my opinion, I'm going to tell you my opinion. In my opinion, I believe that it's too early. That was my gut when I first heard about it. And that still remains my opinion. That remains my opinion. I think it's too early. And the reason why I think it's too early is because COVID is still a fucking thing. COVID is still a thing. We haven't beaten COVID effectively or to a degree that I would feel comfortable with. Okay? And further evidence of that comes from CPS. There's a quote from a CDB article that was published on Tuesday. That was just yesterday. CPS says that if local cases spike into high levels of spread, it will recommend the board to require mask wearing. And that's my point. My point is we still live in a world where spikes in high level of spread are still a concern. And until that's no longer a concern, I think we should act like it is a concern. And my gut, this is just my gut now, is saying as long as the specter of COVID is a possibility, then let's mask it up. How difficult is it to wear a mask? Now, I don't know about you, but I've gotten to the point where I am sick to death of wearing a mask. but not to the point where I don't wear it. Okay, I have been in some venues when I didn't have it on, but typically I have the mask on, even though I'm vaccinated. Okay. It just seems like a very easy thing to do. And most times it doesn't bother me. I have had some bad mask days. You ever had a bad mask day where your face is just itchy? Maybe it's just because you got a little beard. I'm a man, I have a beard. Oh boy, don't get me caught up with all of that. I'm a man, I have a fucking beard. Let it stay like that. I don't want no transgender conversation about it. But I've had some bad face days where it's just itchy or it's fucking hot. Can I curse now? Yeah, I can. Or it's freaking hot. Now I don't want to curse. Right? Or it's just I've got, maybe it's not my go-to mask. Maybe it's like my backup to my backup to my backup mask. Anybody had that happen before? It's like you're feeling around, you don't have your go-to, and you're like, oh, snap, I got one of these joints right here, little cheap-ass things. Like, what is this really protecting me from? What is it really? I don't know. Which leads me to the other point. Like, are the children or the students really properly wearing the mask anyway? Like, is there a point to it where, like, hey, it's so inefficient? Does it you're really wearing it for emotional support, right? Is that where we are? I don't know, you tell me. But again, this is from the board. CPS says that if local cases spike into high levels of spread, it will recommend the board to require mask wearing. So you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Hold on, I'll put this on the screen for you. This is from my friends over at CDB Magazine. You can check them out if you like. Do you know what that means? That means, and follow my logic on this, that means that if there really is a spike into high levels, that by the time the CPS goes back to wearing a mask, it'll be too goddamn late. That's what it means. That's what it means. That's what it means. It means that if they decide, if there's another variant or there's a spike to high levels, that by the time the board gets to another board meeting and they can all decide on it, if they decide to go back to requiring masks because there's an uptick, it'll be a month, 2, 3, 4 weeks too late. That's what it means. So if that's what it means, then keep wearing a mask. That's what I'm saying. Until the specter is gone. It's like we just want to take the umbrella down and take off the raincoat so badly, right? That every time it looks like the thunderclouds are going over the mountains or whatever, we just take that raincoat. Oh, it's sunny, even though we can see more thunderclouds coming our way. But everybody wants to return to normal. I keep hearing this. We got to return to normal. We ain't never returned. What the fuck you mean normal? There is no normal. We are living in unprecedented times. Don't you understand that? Gas is $4 a fucking gallon. What do you mean normal? Gas is $4 a gallon. The earth itself is trying to revolt against human beings. The climate is changing. These big-time, smart, rich people, senators, can't even agree on the basics. Gridlock. There is no normal. Throw that out the window. We day to day, y'all. Normal. I want to get back to normal. Oh, take the mask off. I can feel like it's normal again. Ooh. There ain't no normal. Get that out of your head. You're going to set yourself up for failure. There is no normal. That is over with. We are living in the last days. This is unprecedented what we're seeing right now on all levels. You got NBA stars who statistically is one of the worst players in terms of shooting in the NBA, whining about people in a very clever way, transforming his last name to add the word brick because that's what people mean, right? That's what it means when you shoot and you miss a lot. Don't call me West Brick. This is a man's a fucking athlete. All them muscles. Don't call me West Brick. Huh? And he wears dresses. What's next? Normal is, get that out your head. That's not a part of the equation. We day to day. We day to day with this. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, including we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring in terms of COVID. I just feel like in general, we should err with our babies. We should err on the side of of caution, even to the extreme on some cases, even to the extreme. But our children are nothing more than lab rats. They go to school in a petri dish every single day. Let's see what happens. Ooh, we can lose 1 or 2 here. It'll be okay. So this is what we get. You know what I'm saying? That's how I honestly feel about it. That's just me. 513-873-7134. Let's take a call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection. What's up?
What up? Look at you with some what's up. What's up with you?
I don't know. What's up with you?
What's up with you, little bro?
When I turned you, here we go. Well, I'll never call you big bro.
Well,
but,
you don't have to, bro. It is what it is. If you don't call the sun, the sun is still the sun. Makes no difference.
Whatever, Nathan. When I turn your show on, you talking about, well, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here, so y'all better. So what's going on with the show today, Mr. Ivy?
No, just being honest. I said I'm here for as long as it's good.
Meaning comments, meaning callers.
No,
what?
No, I mean it's purely subjective in my own head. As long as we got some good energy. Conversation.
Okay. So you're in the talk show host mode where if you ain't feeling right, that means that the show ain't feeling right. So you gonna pull the plug.
No. Let me make it more basic. When I'm done talking, I'm done talking. That's what I mean. I don't feel like I have to go to 10 or a certain time frame. When I'm done talking, I'm done. That's what I mean.
Okay, so you could go to what? 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time, huh?
Good, yeah. I've done.
Yeah,
before,
hey, I like it. But to answer some of your topics on the table, and before I continue, I will want to point out that Glenn from Mason, also known as the Politically Podcast host, he is my meme buddy. Ask Glenn; he'll tell you.
Okay.
He is my meme buddy because he already in the YouTube chat talking garbage as usual. When I extended a hand, an olive branch to that man, he's my new good friend, but he still cannot accept the fact that I am who I am and he is who he is on the Nathan Ivy Show. But Mr. Ivy, the war on the coronavirus, who's going to say it's over? I think it's going to be we the people, because I'm pretty sure you're aware that the NFL has scrapped all of their COVID-19 protocols. Everything is done. Then you just mentioned schools are lifting the mandates. And again, Mr. Ivy, you got to recognize this is an election year, sir. And all the polling shows that American people, like you said, they're getting fed up with all this mask stuff, especially what happened during the Omicron variant, where people who were double, triple vaxxed, vaxxed that thing up. Everybody was vaxxed, but everybody was getting it. Could nobody escape? I don't care if you had 3, 4, 5 masks on. Everybody got the Omicron, and I think that woke up a lot of American people to the realization of what this whole pandemic is really all about. Because, like I said, it's an election year, Mr. Ivy. The polling data indicates that the American people are fed up with this whole lockdown pandemic, threats of lockdowns. Oh, if somebody got a runny nose, they show up at the hospital, we closing down the city. I think that's completely over, because I hear no mention of people wearing masks, social distancing over in Ukraine, where Putin acting a fool, and you got all these people running for the border. You don't hear no talking, no mask, nothing. But again, we are in an election year, and I really honestly think that we the people are going to say that the war is over, coronavirus is done. We'll continue to be responsible and look out for our own well-being. We don't need some politician or local bureaucrat telling us to go put a mask on. So I'm glad that people are moving on. But as far as the Nathan Ivy Show goes, I still I still say, Mr. Ivy, your show is the bomb, brother. And as long as you let me be part of it, I'm going to be part of it. And again, Glenn, where you at, my mean buddy? Come on, call in after me, because you know, without me, you would be nothing, Glenn. So that's all I got, Nate. Thank you for taking my call. And it's Tuesday. Is it Wednesday or is it Thursday? Oh, that's right. I'm retired. Stop Squad 52. Stop retired to anyone who wants to catch it. Shout out to the alt middle.
He said, oh, that's right. I'm retired. He is funny for that, man. Appreciate the call, brother. And surprised he didn't get a dig in on Obama. He loves that. He loves that. But back to CPS. So CPS has decided masks no longer required in Cincinnati public schools. I just want to know what the choppers think. Is this at the right time? Is this the wrong time? Is this too soon? Is it too late? Is it too soon, too late, or right on time, in your opinion? Too soon, too late, or right on time? I'd like to know. Nakia writes, he got all his rocks off. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Good morning to you. Y'all wrong, man. Who are you? Who are you on Nathan Ivy Show? DeAndre writes, CPS said we only got 2.5 months before they are on spring break. Let's see how this works out. Right. Jesse writes, make it basic for him, Nathan. I broke it all down, right? I'm here for as long as I have stuff to talk about, and then I'm out. Time for a coffee break. Oh, you don't like Drop? Man, y'all wrong, man. Get Drop his damn respect. Tiffany, I did see that. I did see the video, and man, that shit is so real. That shit is so real. I did see that. Shabazulu writes, put some respect on his name. Call him West Tranbrook. You might start a fight if you call that man that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Deborah writes, good morning, Nathan and all. Good morning to you. Damon writes, they have to try to create a sense of normalcy to get the economy back. I'm not sure there will ever be a normal that we recognize from the past. That's the point I'm making. It's day to day. You don't know what the next catastrophe is going to be. Let's call it what it is. You don't know what the next pandemic is going to be. We have no idea what these politicians are going to do. And the earth is trying to evict us. That's what climate change is. Climate change is like, it's the same thing. Like if something's irritating you, what do? You scratch it. And what does it do to the top layer of your skin? It destroys it. That's what the earth is doing to us. We've irritated her skin and she's trying to get rid of us. Who knows when she's going to evict us, it'll all be over. I mean, for real. That's some real shit right there. We don't know if this Ukrainian thing is going to go to nuclear level. And then I'm like, damn, why do we even have nuclear weapons then? Like if nobody's going to use them, why do you, I guess it's detente, right? Mutually assured deterrent. It's a, we just can't get ourselves together. Us against them. And I guess it's the way it is. Charles writes, somebody tell Tiana Taylor that the people fleeing to Ukraine are trying to survive first. They aren't worried about wearing masks when bombs are dropping on their heads. Exactly. Micah writes, it's too soon. I was in Oakley Kroger yesterday. I only saw 4 people with masks. Right. Yeah, I agree with, that's my opinion, shall I say. My opinion is it's too soon. And CPS, his own word says, listen, this is a possibility. It's an if. It's a very real possible if. And my thing is that if we go to if, which is we have to go back to a mask mandate, they're going to be a month too late. They're going to be 2-3 weeks too late. Just like they were before. But these are just opinions. Greg writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you, Greg. There is a meme that is circulating that people are saying is okay, I see you, Gerald. Thanks for the link, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hold on, let me see here. There's a meme sent to me by. Oh, okay. So I want to show you something real quick because we talk about people, politics, and pleasure. I mean, we could talk about different stuff. And we ain't splitting the atom, and we are not solving the plight of humanity today anyway. Maybe tomorrow we'll do all that shit. But today, no. It's not going to happen. I read that McDonald's is temporarily closing all 850 stores in Russia. And at first I thought, well, damn, that means the Russians are going to get a lot healthier eating that bad trash food. But, you know, people that eat fast food. They're just going to go somewhere else. They just go somewhere else to get what they want. Hold on, there's something I want to show you. I want you to tell me if you, any sneakerheads out there, this is completely a departure from anything else we've been talking about. This is going to come across as random, but it's not random to me because I plan on bringing this up no matter what. But I just want to get your thoughts about this. I came across this. Did I send this to myself already? I think I might have did already. I came across these sneakers. I know sneaker culture is huge right now. I wanted to get your thoughts. I'm going to show you a picture. You tell me if you like them, how much you think they're worth. The earth is sick of our asses. Yes, she is. Tanya writes, mask could have remained until the end of the year just to be saved. Right. Go through that. Why can't it just be a year-long policy? And then what happens is a year-long policy would have been smarter. A year-long policy would have been smarter by CPS. This was not a smart move by CPS, in my opinion. This is my opinion. There's a couple reasons why, or here are my reasons why I think that a year-long policy would have been smarter. Number one, what do you lose? To this point, they've had a mass policy of CPS. What's been lost? Has somebody been injured because they've had a mask on? Like what, really, realistically, what has been lost? Maybe the discomfort from people here or there. I just wonder if some of the mothers and fathers of CPS students that have influence with school board members, I'm wondering if they didn't get to these school board members and make it seem like the way their kid, it's just itchy and scratchy for my son every day. Can you do something about it? I'm wondering if they succumb to that kind of pressure because I don't understand. What do you lose? Like what has been lost? Because CPS has had a mask mandate. What has it harmed? Has it stopped the educational process in any way? Has it cost CPS or parents any more money? Is it impacting the test scores in any way? As I sit here, there's a no to all. I don't know that anything was lost. The students just had masks on. So what do we lose and what's the risks of possibly doing away with the mandatory mask policy? Well, I mean, the further risk of COVID, like in the schools now, or let's say that there is, and we hope this doesn't happen, but let's say there's a variant that pops up within the next 3 weeks. You know, these things circulate fast. And we know the CPS notoriously is slow to respond. 1 + 1 equals, if that happens, they're going to be slow to respond. And the variant, if this happens, hypothetically, will be circulating around our schools. And then a month later, when they have a board meeting, or maybe they have an emergency board meeting, then they'll get to it and they'll vote on it if they can get enough people to vote for that. Huh? Which means the further spread of COVID, it means potentially more teachers and administrators off, which hampers the ability of the school to work. Hell, they shut down schools for that. So let's say you keep the mask mandate. You keep it in place for the entire year. Now, what does that do? Well, that covers you, at least with that small little covering with a mask mandate, in case something happens before the end of the year. And then you got the whole summer for anything to happen, for you to analyze whatever's out there, and then to make another decision. Like, okay, maybe they decide, hey, no more mask mandate. It's all clear. I just feel like we should be erring on the side of caution with our children. And I don't always feel like CPS does that. Now, you might feel completely differently, but those are my thoughts on it. For anybody who's like, hell yeah, no more mask. So how was it hampering the process that was taking place inside of CPS schools because there was a mandatory mask mandate? How was that hampering anything? Maybe it was. I just don't know it. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it if somebody's got that answer. Because I sit here, thought about it, I just can't come up with anything. Deshaun writes, their rights are being violated for being forced to wear masks. Right. I just wonder, because you got some parents out there that have influence because they're just loud, or they might be a part of a group, or they got money and they know how to throw the money around the right ways, or they got connections. So I'm just wondering if some of these whining ass complaining parents, my kid doesn't want to wear a mask to school anymore. It's uncomfortable. His grades were better before he was wearing a mask and all this kind of stuff. Comfort. I just don't understand it. I have 2 children. They went to school every single day. They never complained about the mask to me one time. In fact, both of my kids want the mask mandate to continue. They're going to continue wearing masks. That was their choice. They don't trust. My children got more sense than members of the Cincinnati School Board. And their children who go to school. I don't know how people voted. I don't know, but I'll look into it. But again, I still don't understand what's the big rush. It's just about convenience. That's what it's all about. It's all about convenience. It's all about, let's project normalcy. I don't want you to project normalcy. I want you to keep my children safe while they're in that building, period, including from diseases. That's what I want you to do. Let me read this article here. Cincinnati Public Schools has updated its masking policy reflecting changes to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's guidance on how it reports the severity, blah, 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 blah. Effective immediately, masks are no longer required in CPS school buildings, district offices, and on yellow bus and van services per a resolution passed by the Board of Education on March 8th. In classrooms with children under the age of 5 who are not yet eligible for COVID vaccination, CPS says there will be air purifiers and teachers will be issued N95 masks to wear if they want. This applies to preschool classrooms and autism and multiple disability units. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Any quotes from the board members here? I don't see any quotes from board members in this particular article. Are people not questioning the board and asking them why they're doing this? It's going to have to fall on you again. Gosh darn. Let me write this down. Get CPS board members on the show. There it is. I'm doing my duty for the community. I'll do it. Again. I just want to know. I'm just curious. I'm sure they're going to have this. There's probably something I'm missing. Like, well, Nate, you didn't know this. I'm sure there's something we're just missing about it. But what's the big rush? Why CPS in such a big mid-year? I don't get it. And I don't want to hear about no freaking CDC. I don't want to hear that. We all grown folks. We're all smart, intelligent grown folks. Don't try to hit me with that CDC stuff. Well, the CDC said that it's okay, so we're going to follow the CDC. But we didn't elect you to follow the CDC. We elected you to make smart, intelligent decisions. We didn't elect you to follow the CDC. Nobody said, I'm going to follow the CDC. Can you think for yourself? I mean, come on now. I know we elected smart, intelligent people that can think for themselves. So somebody shove some numbers in front of you, just go with that? It is what it is. It is what it is. We are where we are. Donnie writes, right, Nate, no impact on education, so why get rid of the masks? That'll be the question I'll ask them. Jack writes, Conway the Machinery, my Ninja 2, Griselda, baby. Conway the Machine. I think I know that, and for whatever reason, Jack is not coming up. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know. What you talking about, Jack? Janice writes, Americans have gotten so used to their so-called rights, they cannot endure a bit of being uncomfortable or caring about their fellow citizens. What Janice just said, yeah. My rights, including, and I'll bring this up and we'll talk about it here in the near future. Matter of fact, we'll find out what the governor's going to do on the 15th. The governor of Ohio has until March 15th to either sign or not sign a bill that's on his desk right now that will completely rewrite the rules in order to have a concealed weapon in Ohio. They call it, get this, constitutional carry, right? Constitutional. Like, that's like, I don't give a about no constitution, man. Constitutional carry. You got a constitutional right to have a gun, and you don't have to take no freaking classes. Now, I've already got the CCW thing on lock. Took the classes. I'm glad I took the classes. People should have to take the classes. I think they should do a little bit more regulating on who exactly is teaching the classes, but that's another story. But people should have to take those classes, right? Because it just educates you, and it's just how bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want it? But that's what's on his desk. He's got till March 15th, I believe. I could be corrected on that. Maybe it's the 14th, but I believe it's the 15th. You only have so much time in Ohio for a bill as a governor to sit on your table, on your desk before it goes on. I think it just goes into law, quite honestly. I think it's got the numbers behind it. So look for that. That's what happens when you ignore stateside politics. Yeah, people can take over who don't necessarily reflect your values. That's just how it works. Rachel writes, good morning. Good morning. Tanya writes, the students were getting used to it, right? Like, who did the board do this for? Something tells me it was probably some big mouth, whiny, complaining ass parents. They got some money and or some connections and or they got the time to fire off a whole bunch of emails. They probably got to the board members. They're susceptible to it. Got in their ear, convinced them this is the majority of how everybody feels. And if that's what happened, that's what happened. It is what it is. Rachel writes, kids don't care about masks. They are used to following the rules from adults. Donnie writes, yeah, my son said he's keeping his mask on. You know, what's going to happen is all the white kids are going to have their mask off and the black kids are going to have their mask on. You know what's going to happen. Keep it real. Yeah, I said it. Drop writes, school boards are getting recalled here in California for not listening to the parents. No more mandates. We do need a recall measure with school, but we need a recall measure with every elected position in Hamilton County. We need that. Kevin writes, vaccinations and natural immunity is reaching a level of herd immunity. That's why it's happening. Okay. Reaching the levels, as in has not reached yet. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Listen, when you live in a rainy climate, you keep a raincoat and an umbrella close at all times. And when you're living in pandemic times, you got to keep this. Now, the thing about it is it's optional, which means that the kids that want to wear it can still wear it. So that's cool. But now you might be the only kid wearing it in a room full of kids that's not. How effective is that really now that the environment has changed? It's really like on some, I was going to make a vaccination rant, but let me go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nate.
Hey, what's up?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Hey, I was calling because I wanted to get your thoughts and the chopper's thoughts on this gun bill. Because my perspective is a little different. So I was talking to TNT about it. And so the one thing that it does is it eliminates the requirement that when you're carrying a concealed weapon in the car, that you have to notify the police. And everybody's like, oh my God, you know, that's dangerous. But I'm like, did we not forget what happened to Philando Castile? So he was in a state that required you, if you had a CCW and you were carrying your weapon, when you get pulled over by the police, you got to let them know. He let the cop know, I got a gun in the glove box. Cop asked for license and registration. He went to get the license and registration, and then the cop shot him. So my concern is I'm a black man, and I got my CCW, and I follow the law. It requires me to let you know, like, yo, don't be alarmed. I'm Negro, and I got a gun in the car. And then you shoot. To me, it might be safer for us not to have to let the cop know that we have a gun. So we can just keep it at, I'm getting my license and registration and walk away from the traffic stop unscathed. So, you know, that's one aspect of the bill as a civil rights lawyer, I'm kind of on the fence about, like, this might be better for us than letting them know that we have it. And to me, the Constitution to carry, that's not new. You know, there are a lot of states that don't require a CCW to carry a concealed weapon. The crime is not higher, you know, in those states. The police are not any more or less safer. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. What do you think?
My gut thought about it, Donnie, is it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, with the scenario
Right.
you painted. It's like I said, if I tell the cop and I get the wrong cop, he gonna get super nervous and might shoot me, even though I just announced it. And if I don't tell the cop, and let's say my weapon's in the back seat, or let's say, you know, they arrest me, but then I don't tell him about the gun. He finds the gun. He still ratchets up for whatever reason. I mean, it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. But other than that, do you have any other issues with the bill? Do you support it, the other parts of it, the other tenets of it?
Well, so then the other issue, I'm glad you asked me that because I almost forgot my other second point. So a lot of people don't realize that law-abiding citizens are getting felonies over the current CCW laws the way they are, because people are licensed and registered to carry a gun. They got the permit to carry a gun. But because of the CCW rules, they're confused about what they can and can't do. So they're getting a lot of felony convictions for this whole carrying a concealed weapon without the CCW. And that happened to somebody in my family. Law-abiding citizen, never had a criminal record, had a permit for the gun, misunderstood what was required by the CCW laws, and now he's got a felony on his record and it's going to impede his ability to get a job. So that's my other issue, is that we got to be careful when we're looking at these laws, you know, to do a 360 review and not just pounce and be like, oh, this law, you know, is going to be bad for the community. It might be better, because are we not aware of the African Americans and regular law-abiding citizens that now have a felony on their record because they violated the CCW? And I feel like if we have a constitutional right to bear arms, then we either have it or we don't. I care more about getting somebody a background check to make sure that people that shouldn't have guns don't have them than I do about all these arbitrary requirements about, well, you can carry it, but, you know, you can't have a round in a chamber, or, you know, the gun has to be so many feet away from the bullets and all this other nonsense. And people are like,
Oh, damn. Hold on one second, Donnie. I think that was me, actually. Damn, hold on one second. I got you unplugged. Damn, hold on one second. And she was in a nice little flow, too. That was my fault. That was on me, Donnie. My phone just dropped you. I'll try to get you back on. Damn. I wanted to hear the rest of what she had to say. She's calling back in right now, but my phone is dead effectively. So just give me a minute, and I'll get charged back up, and I'll try to get her back on the phone here. But to what she said, though, I would say a couple things. One, I would say that, like, if you're ignorant of the law, on some levels, that's on you. But I also think that the judges and the court should take, you know, law-abiding citizens making mistakes into consideration in their sentencing. So to get a felony and you made an honest mistake, that seems tough to me. At the same time, like, I feel like you got to be responsible. If you're going to do something like that, you got to be responsible and do a little bit of, or a lot of bit of, or the necessary amount of investigation or research into knowing what the laws are. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. At the same time, if you're a law-abiding citizen, that's a tough pill to swallow. Donnie, if you're watching, that was on me. My phone dropped. So let me plug it back in. I'll try to get you back on if you got the time this morning. But I appreciate the flows. And to her first point, though, that's an interesting conundrum, because Philando Castile, the way that she described it is accurate to my knowledge. But there was a case that we talked about like two weeks ago where a sister got pulled over, and she's going through her purse to get her ID. The officer is standing outside the car, and he believes that he sees her CCW license. And so he draws on her. He didn't even see a gun. In his report, and it was reported that as a part of his report, he put in there that he observed that he thought that when she was going through her purse, he saw a CCW license and he got scared. Didn't even see a weapon. Some of this shit is just the luck of the draw or the bad luck of the draw. You never know what you're going to get. Like life is like a traffic stop. You never know the demeanor and what type of officer you're going to get. You have no idea. You could get somebody that's cool and chill, or you can get somebody that's on some dumb ish. And if you get somebody that's on some dumb ish, anything can happen, as we've seen many times before. And it might get off afterward. It's really tough, but I believe I don't trust Ohio. See, I my feelings about it in general, and I'm gonna take a break here in a second so I can plug back up and take your phone calls. But my opinion about it in general is that I don't believe it's gonna be like the Wild Wild West, because look at Kentucky. It ain't the Wild Wild West in Kentucky. They did the same thing already. But I still don't trust Ohioans. I'm still concerned that somebody is gonna be killed or lose their life, be separated from their family and their family from them, because they've got now more access to a concealed weapon. I just don't trust human beings across the board. I don't trust us, man. Give me one reason why I should trust human beings with something like this. Time like this, we need a dictatorship to take over and force people to be peaceful, right? That was Darth Vader's plan, him and the Emperor. We're going to be peaceful because we are the only authority here. So as long as we ain't got no problems, y'all ain't got no problems. You know, something like that. But I don't trust Ohioans. I don't trust us one bit. But we are where we are. I appreciate the flows. Good morning to you. Now they're going to be more scared. Yeah, now you got more of a so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So when they pass this, you don't know who got a concealed weapon on them. You have no idea. Anybody can have a concealed weapon on them. Perfectly legal. And I don't know about you, but if I go to a few places and everywhere I go, everybody's strapped up, I'm strapped up. We all gonna be strapped up. That's just how it works. Nakia writes, that's true. Tennessee is one of those states. I'm going to tell you, man, when Republicans get a majority, they do Republican shit. They don't play around talking about, ooh, we may not get reelected, or, oh, what if the Democrats take over? When Republicans have a majority, they have a majority. Now, of course, in Ohio, they got a vast majority, so it further the power is further concentrated, but when Republicans get a majority, they do Republican shit. That's what they do. We doing what's our agenda? Republican shit. That's what they do. They feel like when the Democrats get in office, it's like, well, we only got a slim majority. Do we really have a mandate? Oh, Lordy, what if we're not reelected? What then? You know, Republicans be gangster about it. That's why they like Trump. Trump was so much of a narcissist. He was so cutthroat. He just brought that straight into the office. They loved it. Brian writes, the thing is, if you have a CCW, it means you've committed no violent crime. So no excuse for that pig. Roy writes, don't forget, because they will not require you to have a CCW in Ohio. If you cross state lines and you don't have it, you're in trouble. But again, that's on you. If you're going to go down the route of carrying a gun, to me, you got a responsibility to do your research about all the laws, especially if you black. I can see a white dude be like, you know what, I'm white in America. I'll figure it out when I figure it out, right? You black in America, you can't do that. You need to understand exactly what the rules are and are not, because you could be stopped at any moment for any reason, at any time. That's what black in America means. You could be stopped at any moment. You could be on your job with a uniform on, and it's your job, it's your business, and your name is on the side of the van, and they can see your likeness as well. And you still might, is this a stolen van? And your likeness can be on the side of the van with a uniform on, and you got the uniform on. So you got to know what you're dealing with and the move, what happens, where are the state lines, what does that mean? That's on you. Do your homework, or don't do your homework and don't play those games. But you can't half steps. It's some shit you can't half step. You can't half step everything. Not to say that you would, but some things really nothing. You can't half step that I want to have a gun on me. You can't half step that. You all in or you're not 100%. And don't carry it unless you're willing to use it. Because you ain't scared, you're going to get yourself killed trying to show somebody a gun and you're not ready to use it. So don't do it. If you're not 100% about that life and willing to deal with all of the moral complications, I can't sleep at night because I had to burn somebody or whatever you had to do, then don't do it. Or do it and do it and deal with it. That's what I would say. Crystal writes, I'm from the hood. I look at everyone like they're carrying a weapon, even grandma. That would be smart. That'd be very smart. She writes, we ride dirty. Shit, better safe than sorry. Don't tell on yourself, sis. Shh. Tell on yourself. Hold on, let me take a quick break because I want to plug my phone back in and maybe I can get Donnie or some other folks back on the line. I just need a couple of minutes. I'll be right back, all right? It's the Nathan Ivey Show. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We'll come right back. More superlative flows on the other side. To you. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. And let's get back into it. All right. So if you want to give me a call, you can do so. 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts this morning. I'm here to receive it. And we talking it up. Yeah, I think Donnie's trying to call back in. So give me 1 second here. Let me get everything plugged in again. And you know how this phone device is waking up again. It's like, energy. Hold on 1 second. Just a few more seconds and I should be good to take your phone call. So there it is. All right. All right, so I'm good. So call me now and we're good. I can get you in. A lot of people, especially white people, use the law to lure people into a situation that will get them killed. They want you to step on their property. They are itching to use their gun. That's why I call it the right to kill bill. In a stand your ground state, they can start it and now finish you, right? I can understand that. I understand people's concern. I understand people's concern. I don't think it's going to be the Wild Wild West. I don't believe that. Because look at Kentucky. Somebody said Tennessee. Is it the Wild Wild West there? I mean, if it is, it's not being reported that way. So, something telling me it's not. Okay, I think we got Donnie back on the line. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. I'm back. That was payback for last week. Remember when I said God put you on mute because he didn't want to hear that nonsense?
Oh, yeah.
I guess, look, touche. I've been cut off. No, seriously. So I just have a couple more points or questions I wanted to ask you. So the other one was about the argument about the training. I wanted to understand it. Well, let me stop. I'll make that last. My issue about, people need to know the law. I don't think that's fair. I feel like I went to law school for a reason, and laws are written in very complex terms. It's not easy for the average layman to understand. And I don't think that everyday citizens need to become, lawyers to be able to carry a gun. I've been practicing law for 22 years, and I look at legal statutes sometimes, and I got to read them 3 and 4 times or look at case law because I have no idea what they're talking about. So I think it's not as easy as, if you're going to carry a gun, educate yourself on the law. Pull out the Ohio Revised Code and read that. I challenge you. and call me back and let me know all the things that it says with real understanding. I'm a lawyer and I can't always do that. So that's my point on that. But with the training, so help me understand, Nate, because I didn't get to take the CCW class with you because COVID hit and I didn't feel safe. I thought the CCW training class was on training about the laws for CCWs and what you can and can't do. Is there also a training component on how to use a gun?
Yeah, at least with the instructors that we use. So yeah, you get a history you get a background, you get a basic understanding of what the law is, the current law is now, and how to move in it. And you get, at least with the instructors we got a whole gun safety, everything you need to know about the gun. And then you go out to the range. So it's 2 parts to
and
it.
Shoot. Okay. And so my issue with that is, but that's only required. People only get that training if they want to get a CCW license. But there's a whole other class of people that carry guns that don't have a CCW and don't want to carry a concealed, weapon. They just want to have a gun, in their home or displayed out in the open, that never get that training. So I think we got to calm down and not overhype this bill. I don't really feel like it's a big deal. I care more about the fact that any random Joe Schmo, training or no training, CCW or no CCW, can go out and get a gun without a criminal background check. To me, that's something worthy of being in an uproar, about, and that's not being addressed with the current laws or with the change. So for me, I just feel like I'm unbothered either way. If they pass it, man. If they don't, okay. I got bigger fish to fry. Is it just me?
No, I mean, I think it's an interesting viewpoint, something to talk about. Going back to your first point, though, you said you can't pull out the Ohio revised code, but you don't have to. Like in Ohio, it's not Latin to understand the difference between what you got to do to have a CCW permit and to carry a concealed weapon and to not. That's real simple. I mean, it might be some parts of the Ohio revised code, like you said, is real dense. I get it, but that's simple. That's something that's very, very basic. And then
I push back on that because we got so many people that are getting felony convictions for not carrying their weapon right because they are confused. And the prosecutor's office is automatically charging you with violation of CCW and illegal transport, and they negotiate a plea deal where you plead guilty to the felony and you get a year's probation. And there's so many cases out there like that. So I argue it's not simple. If it was simple, then so many people wouldn't be getting tripped up and getting convicted by that.
Yeah, but it's even more people that's not getting tripped up, that they know the difference. There's even more people out there that understand what you got to do to have a CCW permit. And if they're not going to do that, they're not going to carry that way. I think that's the majority of people. So I think that's a tough road for an innocent person, and you innocently made a mistake. I mean, to have a felony and have to miss it, I think that's a lot. I mean, that's a distraction of the prosecutor. Yeah, I think it should be like a ticket or something right. And when I was dealing with the situation, I was at the prosecutor's office like, yo, it's an honest mistake. Are you really about to charge a felony? And what I found interesting is they can charge under the statute. They can make it a felony or a misdemeanor. And their position and policy is always to go for the felony. And I'm like, this is crazy. It is crazy. I wonder.
So I just see both sides of the issue.
I wonder why that is.
I'm not a Dieters fan because Dieters is Dieters' office. So you know how he does. He's extra on all the wrong shit. So that's why, not to get on the soapbox, but voting for prosecutor matters. So I'm still bitter that Fanon didn't win.
You ain't alone, sis. You ain't alone.
Right. I don't understand how this alcoholic prosecutor is still in office, but, go crazy.
Talking
all right, well, that's all I got for Hump Day. I just wanted to, even though you brought it up, I was like, well, this is interesting dialogue. I was curious to know your perspective and hear from others, because I know the NAACP Cincinnati chapter is against this bill, and I didn't really see where it was a big deal one way or the other, so I wanted to get a better understanding, like if there's something I was missing.
Okay.
To know why I should be avidly opposed. So thanks for taking my call. You guys have a great day. I'm still listening.
Thanks for making the call. I appreciate it. It's Donnie B. She got back in. The line is available. Somebody said, am I taking their phone calls? We take all phone calls here. I think that was my good buddy Black Lion. You welcome, bro. People think I got you banned to the show, man. That was a long time ago, man. You worked through that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you always welcome to call in. Now, I'm going to be the same way. You know what I'm saying? I ain't compromising. If you call in with that dumb ish and I have to let you go or whatever I got to do, I'm going to do that. You know, you can play your little games. You're going to hit the panic button. I'm going to hit the panic button if that's what you want to call it. So nothing has changed, but you always welcome to call in, brother. You got a very valued opinion at all times. Let me flash the number up there if you want to call in, actually. Feel free. But just know who you calling and where you calling into. That's it. This ain't no regular degular. Oh, man. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nate and the Choppers.
Hey, Brother Forte.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just heard my sister, Miss Donnie, talking about, some of the mistakes that people make. It's only two mistakes that a CCW licensee can make. One, you don't tell the officer that you got your gun. Or two, you prematurely point your gun at an officer. There's not another mistake you can make. If it's a mistake, it's going to be on the cop. The Ohio law said when you're pulled over by law enforcement, you must say to them, I'm a licensed CCW carrier and where the weapon is at. That's it. That's the only requirement that you have with the current law that we know is getting ready to go out the window.
Is that important, Brother Forte, in your opinion?
It's important because if the cop from the right comes up and see your gun and he hollers, gun, all hell going to break loose. So you got to speak. If you remember what we told you all, you speak loud and precisely and professionally. Officer, I want to let you know I'm a licensed CCW carrier. We didn't say nothing about a weapon, did we? We let you know we have a license before we say where the weapon's at. Mm-hmm. I have a gun in the glove box. Well, hell, you might be carrying it illegal. So the mistake you talked about, the guy up in whatever that state was, when he drew down on that sister, he needs his job taken. I understand she got $100,000 settlement, but that wouldn't be good enough if it was my wife or my daughter. Okay? I mean, if this guy is that damn jumpy, he don't need to be carrying a badge and a gun. And God bless his dumb chief and his city council and even his FOP if they going for that. He seen what he thought was a license and he drew down on this woman. No. But yeah, that can happen because we got idiots with badges. We always talk about the good cops. They don't need to talk about them. They're not doing stupid stuff. We talk about the bad cops. You sat in that class.
I was just going to ask, Brother Forte, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to ask,
yes,
this
sir.
Question came to my head as you were speaking, and I don't know if you can speak freely on this because of your situation, but do you have an opinion about this bill and doing away with some of the requirements that are in place now for CCW license?
I have I'm anti-constitutional carrier without training. I'll make it that simple. I don't think you're going to give Medium Buddha and Little Nate the keys to the car without teaching them how to drive a car safely. Just because they become 16 or 18. Am I correct?
I follow you, yeah.
So when you get a gun in your hand, lightning with steel on the end of it, and you don't know what you're doing, people shooting themselves, shooting their family members, shooting a lady at the bus stop. You clean a gun and people shooting themselves because they don't know what they're doing. So, yeah, I understand the Constitution, right to bear arms, but I also understand they were dealing with muskets when those gentlemen wrote that. I understand that, it took 30 seconds for the average person to load a gun and shoot it. In 30 seconds now, I can drop 60 people. So I just think the law, the Constitution, they say one of the greatest things about the document is it can be revisited from time to time to make adjustments. So this is the time that we need to tell Americans, if you're going to carry weapons, you need at least a basic safety class. That's my strong opinion. And I'll say it on CNN, Fox News, or anywhere. You were with your uncles and granddaddy and them forever, but they didn't just give you the keys without sitting you down and showing you how to operate a vehicle. You push the gas too hard, you're going to hit something. You hit the brakes too hard, you're going to get thrown out the freaking window. You turn too sharp, you're going to hit the curb or a pole. We had to remember the original cars, you didn't have license, right, Nate? There was no license for cars. cars got so sophisticated, we had to train people to drive them safely. And that's the same way I feel about guns. And to stand your ground, we see what happened out there on the expressway about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Road rage, fender bender, one guy gets out the car, the other guy shoots him. The local prosecutor said, hey, he was standing his ground. But what I don't understand is, was your car drivable and was your doors and windows locked? You didn't have to kill this guy. You could have simply drove away and stayed on the farm and said what was going on. But Joe made the decision. This guy tried to get in the car. Like I said, if the car was locked and the windows was up, if he ain't got a hammer or a gun, how's he going to get in the car? And you could just simply drive off. That was all up to interpretation. But no, what Donnie's saying is she's right. If you carrying a gun without a CCW license, you can't have it concealed. In the glove box, you can't have it under the seat. You can't have it in the trunk unless it's unloaded. She's correct on all those things. You can't have it on your person in the vehicle. Now, you get out of the vehicle and the gun's in plain sight, you can carry the loaded gun in public. So she's right. It's like scrambling eggs. But as far as your CCW license go, brother, it ain't but one thing you got to do as of today. You just got to let them know you have a license and if you got a gun on you. That's it.
And you recommend saying, don't say I have a gun, officer. Say,
no.
I have a registered CCW license.
That's right. I'm a licensed CCW carrier.
I'm a licensed
That's what he or she needs to hear. Then I tell you where the gun is at. Right? I know people get pulled over, don't even have their guns on them and they tell them. Because if he ran your license plate, he would know that it's a licensed CCW person who owns that vehicle. The problem is most officers are so fast trying to get to your car thinking you're going to hide something that they're not waiting for the computer to tell them that that vehicle belongs to a CCW carrier. Does that make sense what I'm saying? They should know when they approach the vehicle that the owner of that car has a valid CCW. But that don't mean your brother or sister's not driving your car. They don't know a damn thing about CCW. That's why the cop has to be professional. You start chewing out my brother because you think it's me, and he said, hey, my brother going to be explicit. This is my brother's car. And he going to say some real choice words to him next time, ask who the hell I am before you start getting in my case. It happens all the time. I think I said in the class, if your sister driving your car, she's not a licensed CCW carrier, especially if you keep a gun in your car, they need to know that when they get your vehicle. But these are the things that the classes teach, and that's what you was trying to tell our sister. You know, I got her. She's a strong lawyer. Her opinion is valid. But anything other than you didn't tell him or you point the gun at him, the cop's wrong if he gets aggressive. And that's when we need the civil rights lawyers. You know, we need to rain down on that guy in his department. So I think the governor's going to sign it because he stand your ground when he said he wouldn't. You know, we talked about this a couple of years ago. After the Dayton, he was so anti-gun, and then he still signed it. So, you know, we'll deal with it, man. You know, I worry about the same people that Sister Donnie worried about, the people who really don't have an understanding of what they're doing. But you are super correct. The CCW laws are not that complicated if you've been trained. Now, if you haven't been trained, yeah, you're going to make mistakes. If you went to the $65 guy and he failed to teach you these things, then shame on you and shame on him. You know, we talked about that a lot. There's some guys out here shouldn't be teaching anything, but they're teaching. And people are leaving thinking they got all this knowledge, and all they're doing is waiting to become an accident. So, you know, it is what it is, man. But it's a tough topic, Nate. And in the end, I'm going to carry. If you see me, I'm carrying. You'll never know I'm carrying. And remember situational awareness, Nate. We talked about that. Once somebody gets the drop on you, they got the chance of winning. You just walk around in a cloud not paying attention to what's going on around you. One of them sisters she said, I know grandmama didn't carry, so you know what? Anybody can have a gun. So that's where we at on that one, man. Usually I'm working at this time and I can't get a shot in to you all.
Thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yep. Take care of yourself.
Yep. Back-to-back good calls with different opinions or similar opinions on some issues. Appreciate the calls. I think Brother Anthony was trying to call in. Call me back. I'll try to get you in, brother, before we roll out of here. Most definitely. Let me double check here. Yeah. Call me back, Anthony, and I'll try to get you on, bro. I'm just doing a one-line system. So when I got somebody on the line, I can put you on hold, but that's a little bit more of a difficult process, a little bit more into it. Okay, here he is. We getting a call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nate, it's Anthony.
Hey, what up, Anthony?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Man, you know, the whole constitutional carry thing, I mean, I just don't understand it. People are not arguing about people who open carry. Maybe they don't have any classes. They're not paying for licenses, you know, but we're worried about people who want to just keep their weapon covered up. You know, it's one of those things where you feel that, okay, if you take a class, which I believe is 4 hours or 6 hours of classroom and maybe 4 or 2 hours of range time, then we're okay with those people carrying. They might not never go back to get any kind of extra training on their weapon, but after 2 or 4 hours being on the range, we're fine with that. We believe they're proficient with their weapon to be able to carry. I mean, come on, man. And to assume that people who agree with constitutional carry have no knowledge of how to use their weapon and this and that or what, you can't, again, assuming, as they say, can make an ass out of you and me. And there are, you know, the brother who just got off, you know, he talks about, you know, people having accidents and this and that, whatever. Well, there have been police officers who've been on forces for 20 or 30 years who have accidents at their homes by cleaning their weapons and everything else. So, you know, there's things on both sides, but we're just concentrating on the people who we believe are going to be a detriment in carrying weapons because they don't have a license, they didn't go take a class. Hey, like I said, to me, it's all a money grab. The federal government will tell you a silencer for your weapon or a suppressor or whatever they want to call it is illegal. But he also tell you, well, if you fill out this form and give me $200, I'll let you have one. It's all a money grab.
Well, in this case, wouldn't they be losing money? I mean, does the state make any money off of these licenses? I think the state makes money off the licenses. They're doing away with a moneymaker by not requiring it, potentially. And I believe the governor was signing as well.
I believe they'll come back with something. There's going to be something, a tax you have to pay or something. That's going to be something. Look at when they go back to cars. When we had the Ohio emissions test, you had to go pay $20 to get your emissions.
I did that.
On your car.
I did that
right.
For a couple of years, I think. It was yearly, wasn't it?
And then, yeah. And then when they did away with it, what did they come back? Now they got, well, if you're more than a week or something late in renewing your license, we're going to charge you $20. You didn't have that before. But as soon as you got away with the emissions check, now you came out with, oh, you're late getting your license renewed, $20. A lot of this stuff is just a money grab. You know, I'll even go back to when they first started requiring having a license to drive a car. You know, it was okay to drive, but then, you know, how can we make some money off of this? Let's make people pay for a license. Let's make them go to our stations and take a driver's test. I mean, some of this stuff is just common sense, man. You know, like you said, if you're a firearms owner, the responsibility is on you to be proficient at that firearm, using that firearm, and knowing the knowledge of the laws of your state. Just like driving a car. You 16, 18 years old, they just go take the test, the written test, do the driving portion, and we put them out there in a 2,000-pound car and feel that they're proficient now. Really?
Well, I mean, I'd rather have it than them have nothing. Same thing with the CCW. You're right. You know, 8 hours ain't a whole lot of time at all, but it's better than zero.
But again, we're assuming, that people who want to carry constitutionally don't have any knowledge of how to use a weapon.
No,
they don't.
I think...
I mean, you can't... Go ahead.
I don't know if we assuming that or we're just saying we want to make sure you've got this certain amount of basic knowledge.
Well, why not put that same onus on the people who carry openly then?
Because
why is it just
because it's not
one-sided?
concealed. It's not concealed. You know, I hear what you're saying. You're like, but when I pull the gun out, when I pull it, I'm in the same position. So what difference does it make? You're right about that. I can't argue against their logic. I hear what you're saying.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's a one-sided argument. It's the people who want to carry concealed that are the problem. They're going to be out here all willy-nilly and everything, but we're not talking about. There's no problem with people open carrying who you don't know if they've had classes or if they had any training or if they have any knowledge of how to use their weapon. But we're not talking about them.
Well,
we're just talking about the people who want to carry concealed.
Well, I mean,
and
one argument could be, Anthony, check this out, man. Tell me what you think. Maybe somebody might say, hey, listen, you know, you're right about that. I hear what you're saying, because when they pull the gun out and put that finger on the trigger, it doesn't matter what route they took to get to that point. That's the most important juncture, right, with that gun in your hand. But, you know, I don't know, man. Like, if somebody's opening carrying, let's say I'm at the mall or something, and I see that, then I can at least make a decision as to whether I want to be in that environment or not. And maybe that's just the trade-off for their Second Amendment rights and also the society we live in now. It's just a trade-off. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was pure Constitution, there'd be no requirements whatsoever. But that was also 200-some years ago. We got a different kind of society now. So times change. And so your gun ownership rights are going to reflect the changing times.
Well, most malls and places like that don't allow you to carry your weapon in.
It was just an example.
I know. But, I mean, and there's also, you know, again, most people who are serious about their concealed carry, you won't know that they have a weapon. And they're not flashy with it. It's only for protection if I get into a situation where I need to protect myself. I'm not trying to, you know, promote myself as, you know, walking around and you can see the little bulge on my side. Most serious concealed carry people, you will never know that they have a weapon on them.
I can buy that.
And my thing is, you know, people talk about, well, the gun rate, the violence rates will go up and everything. I'm one of those people myself personally. I'm gonna leave you alone. You leave me alone. But if you don't, then you get what you get. You know, and like the brother was talking about on the shooting out there. Well, the story came out that, you know, yeah, maybe he could have drove off or whatever. I don't know if he was blocked in or her. I don't, because you have to see the picture of the scene. But if it came out that he got up on the dude close enough to try to pull him out of his car or hit him and all this stuff, you get what you get. I don't care what, you know, the situation about road rage or not. Once you put your hands on me and everything like that, you get what you get. Like I said, I don't bother nobody. I don't want nobody bothering me. And I shouldn't have to run away from you when I'm rightfully in somewhere I can be. To me, that's crazy. You know, if I'm out with my family, then I got to try to pick my kids up, make sure my wife can keep up. No, if you come over and cost us at our table while we're sitting down, eating or whatever, you get what you get. People are, I'm tired of what's going on out here. I ain't trying to get robbed on the street. There used to be a time where you could, you know, if somebody's going to come in your home, they scope out your practices and you come in when you wasn't home. Now people come in at all time of day when you home or not. This stuff is getting outrageous. And again, I shouldn't have to run from nobody because they accosted me.
Anthony, I appreciate the flows, man. I appreciate the passion.
All right, brother.
Yeah, have a great day. Yeah,
Thank
don't
you.
be a stranger, man. I love it. I love all that energy, man. I appreciate the flows today. But damn, that's my time. Gotta leave you like that. I'll be back with you and hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning, bright and early. We'll chop it up, 8 a.m. hour. We'll talk about people, politics, and pleasure. Never know who we might be talking with. I got a couple of interesting requests out for guests, and you can expect more of that here on the Nathan Ivey Show as we get deeper into the year. Have an excellent rest of your Wednesday. It's a hump day. Remember our motto, family. Let's say it together. Winners focus on winning. And losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon.